we can start any moment.
Howdy doody, folks. It's the Faith and Fitness Podcast. I am with the one and only Sara Johnson. Can I get a round of applause? Celebrating her third year of coaching at Blur.
3 years.
Can you believe it, Sara?
I can't believe it.
She embodies the Blur mission of being relentless and rejoicing. She always comes in with full effort, a great attitude, bop, 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 dancing, and then the workout starts foaming at the mouth, bringing everything she's got to the table, and then right when the workout's done, bop, bop, bop.
Mid-workout. We're bopping.
Oh, I'm so excited for this. We're grateful you're tuning in with us. I think it would be great to start with, how the heck did Sara get into this CrossFit?
Oh my gosh, where do I start? So backstory on me, I have not, growing up, I didn't play sports. I didn't, my parents didn't put me really in anything. So I didn't exercise, I didn't lift weights. 26 years old, I meet my husband, and he was so into being healthy. He wanted me to be healthy, but didn't want to tell me. And I wasn't in any way like out of shape. I was just very skinny fat, so I wasn't fit and toned. And so he would indirectly, like, he would buy me like shoes, and he'd put it on the bed with a little note of like, have a good run. And I'm like, I don't run. Or he'd buy me like a sports bra. You know, you look so cute in this at the gym, but I would never went to the gym. So he proposed to me hiking. Everything was surrounded around fitness.
Oh, what mountain in the valley, or?
No, we were in California.
Okay.
So he pushed me slowly, and it took years. So it still took me probably 6 years till I stepped foot into my first CrossFit gym. But he was the one that got me in. And now he's created this monster.
Almost a decade later, she is so crazy strong, committed, dedicated, disciplined. And it's been crazy to watch, even the last 3 years, how much more physically fit and confident and just found your full stride here. It's been beautiful to see. What would you attribute your growth to in the past 3-4 years as you've continued to just take your game to a whole new level?
I would say I started off doing things like eliminating one thing, or just starting off by doing 2 days a week of CrossFit, just coming in slowly. I wasn't really into it. I didn't like the gym we had gone to. There was a sports side and there's a fitness side, and so I was with the fitness, like it was the beginner. And so I would see the ones in sports doing like the muscle ups, and I'm like, I want to be there. So slowly I started going every day, and then I would add an extra training day to just be better. And so slowly I just wanted to be better, but it's taken a long time.
If you would have given a picture of you now to Sara 10 years ago, would you have believed?
No.
And she doesn't have her guns fully out, but they are popping and the abs are ripped.
I would never think that I would be here, ever. You could never tell me that one day you're gonna be able to do like muscle ups and you're gonna have abs or you're gonna have muscles, because it was just never something that I imagined myself. I didn't even want it. Like, that wasn't something I wanted. Now I crave it. Like, I'm like, how did I not want it?
But even better yet is just the absolute infectious energy, and your care for other people is so contagious that you've created a very, you're super persuasive. I was telling her, like, Sara could tell everyone to start eating cat turds to get rid of their wrinkles.
Oh my God.
And all the girls be nibbling on cat turds trying to get rid of their wrinkles. But it's because you care and people know you care. So when you are addressing someone, they're like, you know what, I need to implement that into my life. And that's our goal tonight, is for you to take one thing from our speech and just apply it to your life, and not seeing us like we're saying, oh, you guys need to work out 10 hours a week like us or whatever, but just to take your next step, to take your next rep, because if you're not making progress, you're not creating happiness. So that's our goal, is to dig up maybe a blind spot for you, or to get you to go the extra mile in a certain area of your life. But it all begins with attitude and effort.
Oh, yeah.
So what would you say as far as getting your mind right? So Sara attends 6 a.m. CrossFit, and we're both firm believers of take your first window. Whenever that first window is for your workout, take it, run with it, because It can get away from you if you work out later. But in the morning, I'm sure you're not always in the mood to do it. So how do you get yourself to just drive here?
So I am always in the mood to do it.
Yes.
I can't wait to get here. I think what's hard for me is waiting till 4 to get here. But I also think that when you do work out early, first slot that you have, you eat better in the day, you make better decisions, and also you're getting to bed where you're not working out right before getting to bed, and that could ruin the quality of your sleep. So definitely, I love coming here, not only for the workouts, because the workouts are great, but for my friends, and like just seeing everyone that you see every single day that have the same mindset as you, that have the same goal. It's so much fun. It's like a Disneyland every day. I love it. I'm not kidding. I love it.
And that's real and authentic. And that is the mission of us, to get every member to experience where they're like, hey, fly, get out of here. Karate chop. Where it's the best part of their day, and you start to embrace actually how much you challenge yourself here, because it becomes something you crave, where you're to the point where you're laying on the floor after the workout, only for 30 seconds, and then you're getting back up. But let's say you wake up, you're super sore, your thoughts are talking to you. Oh, like, maybe I should take the day off, or I'm not feeling that great. I've trained myself where I'm not gonna let my thoughts talk to me, I'm gonna talk to my thoughts. I was telling you, for instance, Tuesday this week, I felt super tired, lethargic, I was really stiff, and I kept telling myself, no, I'm gonna have my best deadlifts that I've ever had. I'm gonna have my best deadlifts that I've ever had. Once I get warm, it's going down. Once I get warm, it's going down. And the other part of my ear was like, you're tired. So on those days, how do you take yourself to continue to push yourself forward?
So I think having a calendar, like in my calendar, my phone, or having it written down, this is what I'm gonna do tomorrow, and keeping that promise to yourself. So if I say, and I put everything down to like walk, everything is in there. But I think that in order to be disciplined, and what keeps me very disciplined, other than loving to do it, is to take the emotion out of it. So knowing that, okay, like when you're motivated, it's you finish watching us, you finish an Instagram influencer talking about her workout, and you're like, I'm gonna go work out. But then you have a bad day, and you have something comes up, and you're like, oh, I'm not gonna go. To be disciplined is to take that emotion out and say, I'm gonna go regardless, right?
Yes.
Like regardless of what it is, if it's a rainy day, if I'm tired, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna move, I can scale, but I'm gonna go because I have that much respect for myself, and I'm going to make sure that I keep my promise. And I'm very about calendar and checking things off. So writing it down to everything I do is written. So my day by day is written on there. But
there's magic.
That promise.
There's magic to pen and paper, and I will attest to that too. When you put something on pen and paper, it solidifies it. It makes it a little more real. And you made a huge point about integrity, closing the gap between what you say and what you do, because our feelings are fickle, and they're gonna steer us everywhere. And we definitely don't wanna become flaky with our friends and say, oh yeah, Friday night sounds good, and then Friday night comes, I don't feel like it. Even more importantly, we don't wanna be flaky with ourselves, because if we're not respecting what we said, then the likelihood of us accomplishing anything is diminishing.
You're never going to regret working out. No one's ever said, oh, why did I come? I feel like shit. I mean, you may feel amazing and you're tired, but you're in the end, you're gonna have so much more energy for your day. You feel so much better. I love
that. Is why Sarah is such a good coach. She is gushing with enthusiasm. Can you feel her pure love and excitement for exercise? And when you enter a room with someone like this, it's contagious. And so that's our mission here at Blur, is to have where when you walk in, you have all these contagious energies. So even if you did have a rough day outside of here, you can leave it at the door and get ready to be transformed by the renewing of your mind and have a new attitude, because I can't tell you how many times how I felt before a CrossFit workout and how I felt after was so drastically different.
You could come in a bad mood and leave in a great mood. Because the workout was so good.
We are floating on the clouds after. We're just giggling, we're bopping, which means dancing if you
So, and I've said this to you before, I think what makes you so successful is that you don't care about the monthly payment of one member. you care if that member is gonna have a cancerous attitude, which is so negative and it's gonna spread throughout the gym. And it's not like you're gonna tell them to leave immediately. You're gonna tell them, hey, your negative attitude is affecting the people around you, and it does. One person can come in, talk bad about the workout, talk bad about the gym, just always negative, and people are gonna be like, oh yeah, that's right. Or it could be the other way around. And so having that negative person is so much better for them to leave, or for you to say, no, you need to leave it at the door, than to have them here because you want that extra monthly payment. I think that's what makes you so successful.
I'm super grateful for everyone at Blur, because what happens is we just have such a rich culture of people that just are grateful and are happy to be here, that it sticks out like a sore thumb when it happens.
We're so fun.
Yeah. And I was telling Sarah this, that out of all the years of watching CrossFit since 2007, all the people that are doing it with a serious face on all the time, none of them have lasted. I've watched them all come and go. You have to find joy in it, regardless if the workout took you 15 minutes or 30 minutes, who gives a shit? Or regardless if you had a great lift that day or you weren't feeling that strong that day, regardless, you came and you did something that less than 1% of the community even has the courage to do. So just the fact that you have had the courage for over a decade straight to continue to do this, and I've noticed too, she's made a point, she said, I'm not gonna complain anymore. And I've noticed it's actually improved your workout performance.
100%.
Because you're adjusting your mind frame to that abundance, and then it shows in your performance. I don't know if you've seen her on Sugar WOD lately, everyone, but she's been kicking names and taking ass. We'll watch her workout, and I'm thinking, there's no way I'm gonna keep up with this. I'm gonna give myself like 4 more minutes.
You're so good.
So I love that about you. And what would be, and we can say all these things, and someone's like, oh yeah, that's like easy for you guys to say, you guys live this, you love this.
Right.
Someone that isn't there yet, and they struggle with actually enjoying the gym, what could be a step that they could take? Or
like struggling to get started, maybe?
Yes, yeah.
I think that when you see, like us, you see us on Instagram, a lot of people may feel intimidated, but I feel like CrossFit is so inclusive. It's for everyone. You could be 9 years old, you could be 90 years old. Everybody can do it. You can scale every movement. And no one even is caring about what you're doing, they're caring about themselves. And there's so much energy and high fives that you just need to lower that entry barrier. I think coming in and saying, I'm gonna just do 2 days a week, I'm just gonna do 3 days a week. Maybe down the road I'll add another day, but I don't need to be perfect and come like Sarah or Jake. I don't need to do 2 a days, because that took me a long time to get there. And coming in and saying, I'm just gonna come just Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'm gonna do my best, and I'm gonna scale, and slowly you're gonna crave more and more and more, but making sure that just getting in, because if you wanna be perfect, first of all, you're never gonna start, but you're gonna fall off just as fast as you started, because you're not gonna be able to maintain that. You have to come in and slowly meet people, find your group of people. The community at Blur is magic. I mean, we are so close here. That's one of the main things I've heard, is how close we are here. And I think it starts with the leader. You're so good about making sure that we're all close, but just coming.
You are too. I mean, everyone that comes in, she greets them with a scream. She greets them.
And I really mean it. It's not for everyone.
That's the best part, is it's truly genuine.
I'm so excited to see them.
And the excitement that you have in the gym is just radiates through the whole building. And I absolutely love it. What about for people that are getting to that consistency, but they're starting to hit these plateaus of whatever it may be. Maybe we can start with,
like, they want to get stronger.
Yeah, they want to get stronger. So what would be something you say to them? What would be the next step of action?
So for me, I used to hate bench, but now I love bench. It's like one of my favorite lifts. And I was like, I want to get stronger on bench. So every time Jake would program it, I would, in my notes, in my phone, I would track, okay, I did this weight, this many reps. Then the week after, I would progressively overload and do another 5 pounds. And slowly tracking your lifts makes you visualize it. Then when you come in 2 months later and you're like, I can't do 120, and you look and you're like, wait, I did do 120. You're mentally so much more confident, and you're like, oh, I've done it, so I can do it. And it pushes you to see where you were last week, where do I want to go, how can I get there, and having a plan, and not just coming in and just sweating and exercising, but actually training. But also there's so many things like, I wanted to get better at muscle ups. I'm like, I have been stuck on singles for years. So I hired Aaliyah, my gymnastics coach, and within a few sessions, I was stringing them along. And it made me so much better at my workouts.
Doing, especially with skill work, I've always had where I did it on the clock one time a week and did it off the clock one time a week. I'm thinking of a few things for me. Mine was, I struggled with butterfly chest bars for the longest time until I started doing them by themselves, off the clock, separate. And I like that, what you said about bench press, how like when you look back and see what you've done, it's evidence, which is way stronger than any positive affirmation you can shout in the mirror. And we create evidence in here that you're a badass, you're an overcomer, you can handle strong weights. I felt prompted to ask you this, but Sarah, I don't want to get bulky. What do you say to the girls?
I don't think you can get bulky. I am trying to get bigger biceps.
Sarah's eating how many eggs a day?
I eat probably a dozen eggs a day, maybe more eggs. I probably have 10 different fruits.
So feminine. This style of training, CrossFit, is going to bring out the most athletic form of you. And if you do feel like it's like beefing you up, look at what you're eating. If anything, you know, look at what I'm gonna karate chop these bugs. But I hear that all the time from women outside of CrossFit is like, I'm not trying to look like, and what you see is CrossFit Games girls who are eating 5,000 calories a day, doing 15, 18 workouts a week. Yes. If you were to do our CrossFit program 6 days a week, it will hands down create the leanest, meanest version of you. So I know. I just showered. I swear, I shower like 4 times a day.
Yes, I don't take anything, but if any of you guys were wondering, because that would be a compliment, but I'm not taking anything like no like growth enhancers or whatever they're called. I'm not taking anything, but I think that a lot of people come and they think that, oh, I did a CrossFit workout, now I can go and have this big meal. No, your CrossFit workout didn't burn that many calories, maybe 300, 400, 500 calories. You can get that in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So you have to still be very aware. You can't come here and say, Blur is making me fat. I'm getting bulky. No, your food. Like you have to
Great point, because it does create a ravaging hunger because it ramps up your metabolism.
Yes.
So you go home and you're like, I'm hungry, pantry.
Right. I think being prepared, when I work out, I bring eggs with me. So I boil like 2 to 3 dozens of eggs, you know, like the night before. And then I'll take 6 with me. I'll have it right after I'm done. The first thing I eat when I'm done working out is my eggs. And so that way I'm full. I'm not looking to have junk. Just having protein done and ready and available and not having snacks in your home is a game changer.
She made a great point about getting ahead where you're not starving.
Right.
When I'm starving, or probably when you're starving, anything becomes on the table, right, where all of a sudden your taste buds are taking your steering wheel to In-N-Out Burger or wherever it may be. Right. But if you're constantly to the point where eating till you're content, every 4 hours you're awake, you're going to get to a point where you're hitting your protein numbers. And I think that'd be a great next topic to talk about, is if maybe you are struggling with your weight, making sure you're getting
protein.
Yes.
So I would say try, and for me it is hard because I only get my protein from whole sources, so I don't do protein powders or protein bars. Everything's from eggs, fish, chicken, steak, red meat, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese.
What would your stomach do if you had a protein shake?
It would bloat, and it would hurt. And I never knew how it felt to not be bloated until I've been eating so clean lately that things that bother my stomach, I can tell right away what it is. So I really don't.
And Sarah and I are in alignment with that. No protein shakes, no protein bars. Single ingredient foods, fresh and frozen. And if you do that, so I'm actually on a journey right now, day number 12 of 50 of no eating out. Even at Kava or wherever it may be, if you're making healthier choices when you're eating out, it's
still not the same.
It's nowhere close to what you are gonna take in for nutrients versus empty calories or bad cooking oils. So that's another thing, challenging yourself with that. And I've noticed anytime I've had a little extra sticky weight on me, I've done these spurts of no eating out, and what I was trying to accomplish in months comes off in 30, 40 days. And also another thing that happens to work for me is going the extra mile on the rower. So I've always told people, if you know
Extra work.
Yeah, if you're struggling to shed weight, after class, before or after class, going the extra mile. Hitting a quick 1K every day adds up to 5,000 meters a week. It's only 4 to 5 minutes each time.
But that's pairing that with your food.
Yes, yeah, because you can't out-train the bad diet.
You really can't.
Yeah.
You just can't. You could go out and have a kava bowl, and you would have to do 4 workouts to burn that off. It's impossible. You have to eat clean if you want to perform better, if you want to look better. I always tell Jake, it tastes better to look good than the taste of food. I think when I look at food now, especially now because I've become so much cleaner, it's not worth it. That minute, that second of like good taste on your tongue is not worth the bloating and the gas, and it's just not worth it.
Moment on the lips, forever on the hips.
Yep.
Yeah, and Sarah has a funny take on this. When you see people get all horny for food.
Oh, yes. When we go out and they're like, I'm like, no, it's just for energy.
Calm
we're
down.
not like, I'm
Calm
not
down.
a foodie. I'm not like, we have to go to this restaurant because it has the best. I'm gonna get the same thing that I would get. Like, I'm just gonna get a steak, plain. So I think taking out the enjoyment of like, oh, food, because I love my eggs. It tastes delicious. Telling yourself that it tastes delicious.
Yes.
Right? I'm like, damn, the salt, the hot sauce if you want hot sauce.
And the further you get away from eating out, the less desirable it becomes.
Yep, you don't even want it anymore.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Is anybody going out to eat and doing
Oh
that?
God, there are people that are like,
Yeah. Calm down, you sick freaks. Another great topic is someone coming to the gym that's maybe battling some nagging injuries. And I have it a lot where people come in, ooh, but I got this shoulder issue. And I heard actually Dr. Mack say this, it's better to have a little shoulder issue than to have a heart attack. There's more serious things on the table for a lot of people. And the truth is, all of us have aches and pains and nicks and bruises while we're working out. It's just,
right.
It's part of it. You work through it. And for me, I realized if it's something that gets better as I warm up, I'm gonna lean into it more. If it's something that I feel like is getting worse as I warm up, I'm gonna back off, modify, but keep moving.
Right.
I have a great story of a fella I trained 7-8 years ago that had to have knee surgery. And he said, I want to make my upper body more dominant than it's ever been and make this a blessing in disguise. We started the journey after his surgery. He could do 3 muscle ups. By the time his knee was healed, he was doing a set of 13 unbroken muscle ups. And it was a matter of 6 or 7 weeks, and his legs returned to the strength they were before, and he did not lose the upper body strength. So you got a great opportunity to make a blessing in disguise. Any tips for people that are battling injuries?
So I feel, first of all, if I am sore, hurt, first of all, knowing the difference. Is it pain or are you just uncomfortable? If you're uncomfortable and just push through that, come, move, again, scale, modify. But also, I am a firm believer that sleep is so important. And it's not, I slept 10 hours. It's, no, you could have 8 hours of sleep, but the quality of your sleep is so important. And are you having caffeine too close to bed? Are you drinking alcohol? Because remember, it doesn't leave your body just because you had it on Friday. Are you going through your sleep stages? Are you going through deep sleep, REM sleep? And because that's where your body repairs. And so when people come in and they're like, oh, and I'm like, I do this 2 times a day. How are you hurt? It's because you're not moving, your diet is bad, which in turn your sleep is bad.
And great point, because there's so many high inflammation foods.
Yes.
I particularly know that if I go to the county fair with my baby mama, I'm not gonna be having deep fried anything, deep fried nothing, because all of a sudden I wake up, my elbows and my knees hurt.
Yes.
And then people say, oh.
And you get hurt when
and
you're
then
working
people are
out.
like, CrossFit hurt me. And no, actually, CrossFit exposed your bad habits. Honey.
That's very true though.
It is, because both you and I have crazy high volume. How could someone that's working out a quarter of what we're doing,
Right.
but having all these nagging injuries? I would say, I would argue that over 75% of the injuries I've seen over the course of these years is because of dehydration and people not prioritizing.
That's so true.
If your muscles are dry and don't have water, the likelihood of them to sprain is through the roof. And if you drink alcohol, it's gonna dehydrate you. Yeah. And also it's a depressant, so even if you don't have a lot, not only will it kill your sleep quality, which will kill your energy, the next day you just kind of have more anxiety, stress, you're a little more irritable, which shows up in the gym too. So it's all these little things, and people will be like, live a little, balance. And what we've discovered is the balance of training hard and recovering hard and continuing to gain momentum, where I'm not living for 2 hours of fun Friday and Saturday night and then just hanging on for dear life, where Monday at 8 a.m. we're
Bags
dancing.
under your eyes, bad breath.
Stank. You gotta let me know if mine's stanking.
I know when your breath smells like poop, your diet is bad.
Ooh. You been in the litter box trying to take your wrinkles away with some cat turds?
But one thing that I hate, Jake, that I get the most is your genetics. No. I understand genetics plays a huge role, but I am 41 with 2 kids. The house is in pristine condition. I get everything done. My kids are taken care of. They're in multiple sports, but yet I manage my time. Yes, I work in a gym and I don't work many hours. So there are people that have
but we all get to
9 to 5
choose
jobs.
our path, you know? If you don't like something in your life, change it.
Right.
You know, so,
Right.
And you are not a product of genetics. You are a product of a high standard and holding that high standard over time.
Consistency.
And you know, there's like the 8th wonder of the world, compound interest. There's a compound interest in exercise, nutrition, and sleep. And over time, it's not something you see in the first 50, 100 days. Accumulate over years, all of a sudden, you create the Persian pit bull.
I think delayed gratification is huge that we should talk about.
Yes.
Because people come here and they're like 1 month in and they're like, it took us 9 years. It took us so long to get where we're at. It's not gonna happen overnight. So I think that coming in knowing that this workout, I'm not gonna see a muscle, a vein, nothing.
Yeah, shifting your mindset from as soon as possible to as long as it takes. I'm in this fight and I'm not letting go. I'm gonna keep fighting. Because what's the alternative? Either way, time's gonna pass. And if you're not activating your muscles, they're becoming decrepit. So if you're one of those people that's just, I just like to bike, well, your arms are becoming decrepit, or you
need to lift weights.
You need to hit every muscle group. And I've seen that integrity with you, where it's not anything to do with her genetics, because I've watched you work out.
Change.
Yeah, and through little adjustments, you keep seeing progress. And if nothing's changing, nothing's changing. So a lot of people will continue the same habits looking for a different outcome. So again, this isn't us trying to point the finger at anybody. It's just us looking at lessons we've learned and seeing if it can't help you remove a blind spot and help you take the next step of confronting yourself where you need to and saying, all right, what's next month? What's one thing I need to stop doing that I'm doing? What's one thing I need to start doing that I'm not doing? What you said about sleep, one thing that's helped my sleep drastically, and I don't bat 100%, is 30 minutes before I go to bed, not looking at my screen anymore.
Huge.
It just like stimulates your eyes.
Yeah, putting your phone down.
And late night mobility for me, 30 minutes before bed. Lucky to have a sauna by my house, so I'll just stretch a little bit and then I lay down and I'm like a melted butter stick in bed. And consistent bedtime has been huge for me too.
Consistent bedtime, huge.
Because if you go to bed a few hours later on the weekend and then try to reset at that, it just, your body likes
Waking up
consistency.
still at the same time on the weekend.
And you do that on the weekend?
Yes.
Yeah.
I still wake up, I still come to Blair, I still work out.
Wait, great point on, going back to the root of the injury. It's going to be very easy to just point your finger and say, you know what, it was that one exercise I did, but like retract, 48 hours prior, I was drunk and then I was dehydrated and I didn't sleep well.
And I made poor food choices.
Yeah, and all of it just trickles. So it's not easy to do overnight, but to enhance your discipline, continue to just make that change each month. Like that's one thing I work on is like, what can I get a little bit better at this month?
Right.
And you've been on a journey of cutting out the alcohol and you've noticed just a drastic energy boost.
Huge change. So
she never had a drinking problem. It's just
but I was that social like weekend, I'm gonna go out, I think growing up didn't drink, so like I felt like I had my fun years as I was older. But cutting it out, I think what made me more like sober curious, meaning like not having any alcohol on that journey of really being able to go to social events and not drinking was I was actually coaching here. It was a 1 p.m. class and we were talking about, one of the members while we were stretching was like, I just had McDonald's or something. And I was like, why are you putting poison in your body? Like that is so gross, da da da. And he goes like, who are you to talk? You put poison in your body every weekend, and it's like, wait, that's so true. Who am I to tell you to not put that chemical lotion on or to not dye your hair or to not do this when I'm literally pouring poison down my throat? For what? And so I think, obviously I didn't stop that day, but I was like, oh, that is so true. The benefits, it was really hard. I mean, very hard. I was afraid, oh my God, I'm gonna lose my friends. Like my social circle, like, are they gonna include me? I'm gonna have nobody. But I was like, I'd rather be alone. I don't wanna be friends with anybody. I'll be by myself. Like, if they love me, they're gonna be friends with me.
Yes.
And so that was one big thing that was hard for me.
You're so fun. So
we're fun.
We're fun.
We always have to tell each other, right?
Yeah.
Right?
We're fun.
We're fun.
We have energy all week.
But to me, not drinking has become such a flex. And when someone doesn't drink, I'm like, damn, that is so hot because you care so much about your body. And again, you guys, I'm very baby into this, so I don't want to act like I know I'm very fresh into not drinking, but I don't think
you're over the hump.
I will ever drink again.
That's beautiful.
So we'll see. I'll keep you guys tuned.
Mine was April 2020 when bars closed and Nancy and I had
started.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. So Nancy and I were a couple years into our marriage. Happy weight, I like to call it. We were just eating out more. I had just quit trying to chase the dream of the CrossFit Games a few years prior. So I'm like, I'll work out when I work out. I just went from doing 21 CrossFit workouts a week to doing 4. And then we ate out all the time, drank all the time. Anyways, came in from a mile run and it was like 9 minutes, 40 seconds. And I was like, oof. I'm like, I better get on the scale. And it was like 265. And luckily I had some really honest friends. Tim Miller, it was, you're getting fat. And I was like,
having friends.
I was like, you're right. And he didn't say it from a bad place. He was just like, dude, you're putting on some weight, dude. Like,
having honest friends.
And I was like, all right. And this is right. And then all of a sudden, everything shuts down. The bars close. Restaurants are closed. I'm like, all right, I'm going to cook. We're going to get back to cooking. And that changed. And then I remember the first night I tried some Clase Azul just by myself. And I'm like, this doesn't feel right, just drinking by myself at the house. I'm like, this just tastes like poison now. And so that was when I realized it's time to make a shift. And then I told my sister, if she ever performs live in Phoenix, her and Luke.
I remember.
I was like, I'll drink. And that was November of 2021. So I went a year and a half roughly. And then for her first night singing in the Valley, I remember I got drunk and I felt like shit the next day. And I remember actually Nancy and I got in an argument on the way home. Like,
after a year and a half?
So that was the last night I ever drank. And the sober curious thing was something that I initially said, I'm gonna drink when it's a Super Bowl. I'm gonna be like Tom Brady. If I win the Super Bowl, whatever that is. And then I realized now that after I went a year and a half and then I drank again, I'm like, I'm out. And then for me, I mean, my dad had to get in a very serious car accident, end up in the ICU. It's in my family a lot, where it's led to very bad roads. So I'm like, and I had a lot of moments where I could see it leading in the same direction. So I'm like, anybody that knows me knows I'm extreme. So every time I drink, I actually had a full bottle of tequila. The man behind the camera guzzled a lot of them with me. And so, yeah, oh my goodness, yeah, we used to drink, me and Nick used to drink Southern Comfort in the bushes. Oh, yeah, so I'm just such an extreme person that I was never able to do anything in moderation. So that was my beginning of sobriety. So I wasn't actually
Mine is
sober
the opposite
curious.
of yours.
Mine wasn't sober curious, mine was California sober at first, and which means you could still have cannabis. And then I was like, this is harmless. But my mind was always so cloudy. And the marijuana, since it's become legal, has become super potent. It's not the same as back in the day, kids, before I used to drive to my dealer's house and wait for him outside for 45 minutes. Now I just go to the dispensary. But anyways, I walked away from that, so I've been stone cold sober for some time. It's been years. So yeah, I'm very grateful that, and it was something that I prayed. I was like, God, remove the desire. And I remember you said the same thing. You're like, remove this desire from me. And
make me want to throw up when I think about it.
Yeah.
And I literally want to throw up when I think about it.
So, you just realize that as you get older, you get away with less. Mm-hmm. So what you used to get away with in your 20s, I mean, I look at my son Julian, he's shitting in a diaper. He gets away with that right now. Mm-hmm. But eventually, you're gonna have to go to the toilet. Right. You're gonna have to wipe your own ass, Julian. and that continues for life. Mm-hmm. So I think what people hit is all of a sudden, their body's not allowing them to get away with drinking anymore.
Right.
All of a sudden, it's a problem. But they're like, well, no, that's how I've always done this.
Right.
But it doesn't work anymore. So it's time to pivot. And I've seen that time and time again where people are butting heads with these habits where their bodies are like, hey, you're not 22 anymore. No. You're 40 now. You're 50 now. You can't do this anymore. You gotta, and that's what I've realized about maturing is that we have to continue to make these necessary steps. And as we get older, we get away with less. Right. And for me, another thing that I discovered avoiding injuries was the sauna 2 years ago. So if anybody struggles with sobriety, everybody has their own tactics of when they have this feeling of trying to crawl out of their skin. And that's how I feel when I would want to smoke weed right after I quit. I would go to the sauna and I'd sit in there for 30 minutes and I'd stretch, hit squats, do some towel pass-throughs, talk to some creepy old men that had their ball sacks out. They'd look at me and go, what are you, a wrestler? I'm like, yeah, let me put you in a headlock, grandpa. Anyways, I would leave the sauna and the desire would be gone.
Whoa.
So for me, fire and ice have not only been the best way to rejuvenate my muscles and get them fresh and go from tearing to repairing, but also it has been the #1 place I run to when I am fighting sobriety, when I'm like, oh, I want to take the edge off. I need to have a drink. And so many people have that feeling, I got to take the edge off. And there's the most beautiful organic way to do it after you've already got your workout in. If you haven't got your workout in, do that first, because that will kill it. But for us, we do both. So she goes to the sauna too. And you've been in the sauna for the last year or so?
Oh, yeah.
And
how often do you go?
4 times a week for about 30 minutes at a time. And I'll just go in there and do deep inhalation, exhalation. It's a great time for prayer. It's a great time to mobilize. You can't bring your phone in there. It's 200 degrees, so you can't have and it's a great time to detach turn off your phone and turn on your soul. And I leave there, and all these desires that I realized were selfish, they're gone. And now I'm ready to go serve my family. And that's what I realized for me, my why of exercise is I want to make my son tired. I don't want him to make me tired. I want to be able to keep up. If I come home and Nancy needs help with something, I want it to be where I like have the energy to do these things. So the sauna and the cold plunge, available free to all Blur members. So if you are complaining about an injury without taking action,
excuse.
It's all here. And I would say the average member is here about 15 to 20 minutes after their workout, usually doing nothing.
Or chit-chatting.
Chit-chatting, but you could take it and multitask. Or it could be like, you see some members go immediately into stretching after their workout. Beijing's really good about that. He'll go right into mobilizing or something.
Walking.
But and that's Sarah. She'll go for a walk. Like, how many steps do you get in a day?
Probably like 25,000, 20 to 25,000 a day.
So I think it's a great topic because she actually started a gang called the Walkaholics.
Oh my God.
It went far extreme, and I feel like you found a sweet spot now.
Yes.
And what that does, because what's his name? Fig Newton.
Who?
An object in motion stays in motion. Isaac Newton.
Oh.
Fig.
Yes.
And you stay in motion.
Yes.
I've noticed that about you.
I don't
You're
really
so
think
good
I
about
sit down other than here, but I really don't think I sit down.
And and for me, what happens when I do is it gets cozy.
I know.
And you start
yawning.
Yeah. So tell us how you will structure your day. So take us through that. Yeah.
Okay, so really quickly, I want to go back to his drinking because I think there are people that are drinkers like me where I don't ever get hungover. My next week day is not ruined. I was still really jacked and lean. I still had abs. I did not miss a day. I could go out, have drinks and still go. And I thought I was still at my best and I was the strongest. And I felt like, it's not the alcohol. Like, I don't get hungover. I never got hungover. I would wake up, pop up. So the watch was a game changer for me to see that I think I'm getting good sleep, but I'm not.
The Whoop?
The Garmin. Well, I have both right now, but but the Garmin was a huge, you're like, what? I'm not getting any REM sleep, or I'm getting minimal REM sleep. And then the days after, the REM sleep is not at your optimal level.
And that only takes a drink or two?
Yes. And I was so good about, I can drink whatever. I'm still coming and I'm still gonna crush the workouts. It didn't affect me. And I was never craving it. If anything, I was like, I don't want to drink, and I'd force myself to drink because there was so much pressure and social pressure. And so removing that and knowing that this is my body, and those people that I feel that I'm pressured to drink, which they're not pressuring me to drink, but that's how I feel, are not going to be there when I am sick. When I am told, God forbid, oh, you have cancer and you have this many months to live. So I think taking care of yourself and not caring if people think you're cool or if they want to hang out with you or not, because I never ever craved it. I never had it alone, never had an issue. But you may think, oh, I only drink once a week. I only drink on Saturdays. Well, it's affecting your whole week, and I didn't understand that. But since I've stopped, I feel like my body, my workouts have been at a different level. I didn't even think I could be at this level. I'm 41 with kids. I'm at a different stage of someone who's 25 or 30, with no kids. And so I feel like it's a lot harder for me to keep fat off of me. So I just think
it shows you what one little shift can do, and being open-minded.
It's the only thing I couldn't let go of.
Maybe I was telling myself stories that I'm not fun with alcohol.
Yes.
Maybe that's just a story I'm telling myself.
Yes.
Let me paint a new picture. What if I actually am a great time without it? And what if, as weeks go by, I keep getting better sleep and keep having more energy, and I actually crave it less and crave it less? And it's a never-ending, beautiful cycle of actually, I'm still experiencing it 5 years later, where I'm still seeing this exponential benefit stack up each week, a little bit more. And you get to the point where you're just totally comfortable going out with people, and you don't feel like you need that social lubricant of, I better have this or I'm not going to be fun. And I felt I felt the devil lying to my ear about that for marijuana. I'm like, if I stop smoking weed, nobody's gonna laugh at my jokes anymore.
Right. How am I going to be able to be in a social? How am I going to go out? You know, and I think that we don't realize, like, we all are trying to keep the wrinkles off and try to stay young, and we want to look good, but we don't realize that when we drink, our sleep is so poor. We cover it up with fillers and Botox and creams that's even more toxins in our body, spending more money when you could just not drink and save the money and not try to get like Botox. I mean, you can still get Botox, but I think that we're all trying to be younger and healthier, and we don't understand, including myself, what a poison it was in my life.
It is the fountain
What
of
a
youth.
poison. It was not affecting my life, my relationships, my friends, my workouts, nothing. So it was just really affecting like my sleep and my recovery, and I felt like, I can't do any better than this. I can't push my heart more than this. But I'm like, I can. I'm doing so much better.
And that's a great opportunity for anybody listening to just see if you can't paint a new picture in your mind of what if I cut out that habit as an experiment for 50 days. And don't try to shackle yourself and say, I'm never gonna do it again. Just give yourself a time frame.
I do it.
And I think the harder it is for someone to create a time frame to do it, I think the more important it is for them to do it. Because if it's that hard for someone to go, let's say 30 days without drinking or smoking, I think it's even more important to build discipline in that area, just to say you did it. And then after the 30 days, reevaluate what it is that what you're gonna find as your temperature. And you kind of been through that journey because you had a spurt where you did it, and then you did it again a little, you had like a night out, and then you went a long time without doing it, you did it again. And I feel like it's kind of the journey that I went on right away, where I was like, and then the further you get away from it, the less you desire it. And same goes for food as well.
So I went 40 days, I think, one time, and then I drank. And again, I told you I've never had hangovers. I had the worst hangover after that 40 days. I was like, is this what it feels like to be hungover? I felt like a piece of garbage. Like, I felt like garbage. And I was like, I don't want to feel like this. I felt like I was a piece of shit. And I'd never felt that. And so it was because I had gone so long without it. I'd already gone 40 days. And so when I did drink, my body's like, what the fuck is this? And it was, so that's, I think, what slowly, and I still don't say like, I'm never gonna drink again. I'm like, if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. I feel so good right now.
But I think
such a high.
There's so many people in here that truly enjoy CrossFit. They wanna do it the long haul. And if that's something that's getting in the way, you kind of have to fight for your love. Which one do you love more? Howling at the moon and chasing the sunrise, and then just crawling out of bed and feeling like crap, and then coming in here and or is it like, you know what, I want to be healthy, and I want to be able to do this for the long haul and have energy Monday through Friday, and so something to evaluate.
Once you get to this point, it feels so good, you never want to go back. Really, you never want to go back. I don't think I ever want to go back.
I believe at least one listeners.
And the more you say no, no, thank you, not tonight. It's not like, I'm never drinking again. It's just, no, thank you, not tonight. It becomes so much easier. And I feel like you look so much cooler not drinking.
That's a great point.
And
because
mocktails, you can get.
What you said about just that night, and it's same goes for a daunting workout. Maybe there's 100 wall balls on the board, and you're at number 10. You're like, how am I going to do 100? Well, no, you're going to do 11. And then you're going to do 12. And then you're going to do 13.
Day by day.
So the next rep, the next step, just focusing on making that next productive step. And some of the things when I was battling deep depression way back when is I had a mentor tell me, just be productive and not destructive. Just take the next productive step and keep resisting that next destructive step. And that goes back to delayed gratification, because instant gratification is going to tell you to take that next pleasure destructive step. Delayed gratification is going to tell you,
like, in the long run, you're going to feel better. And just knowing that you're going to get there and you're going to feel better, for sure. And just your body, you sleep better, you metabolize your food better, you work out better, your muscles grow better. you're stronger. So
Yeah, and
if you're thinking about it, I'm telling you, it's worth it.
And we're not trying to condemn anybody, just trying to
No,
convict
because
somebody.
I'm pretty baby into this. Jake's more of a OG, but I'm pretty baby into it.
And going into, because of all this, you've been able to, she goes to the 6 a.m. Blur class, and then right afterwards, how many miles do you walk?
So we walk 1 mile afterwards.
Perfect cool down.
Then we eat our eggs and our fruit. And then we do another like weightlifting accessory work. And then we sauna. So it's like I dedicate like 3 to 4 hours. And I know that may not be realistic for everybody, but
how many? Oh, go ahead.
Don't tell me.
I was gonna say, I mean, how many hours of screen time we all have.
Oh yeah.
You know, we have more time than we truly realize.
Right.
And a lot of people, we got the decision, are we gonna watch Netflix or should we go to the sauna? You know, or there's more opportunities.
Should we go to bed?
Yeah.
Should you not? So I think one thing that's helped me with my bed, like getting into bed, is I set an alarm about 7 o'clock and it's like, start getting ready for bed. And it just gives me that hour of like, okay, I need to start getting ready for bed. And you know,
Tell them all your rituals.
Yeah, so like I set an alarm, it's get ready for bed. So I'll start getting my clothes ready for the next day for the gym. I'll start, you know, I'll brush my teeth. I get the kids, like they know I'm on, like they hear my alarm, they know. But also it's like, I tell myself, it's my job. Getting into bed is my job and I can't be late. And so I'm like, I need to be in bed at 8:30 and it's my job. And I'm like, literally like in bed, eye mask, tape, because I don't Botox, so I got tape everywhere, castor oil, you know,
Take
everything
notes,
is Invisalign popped in, like ears. I have I plug my ears so I don't hear anything. But when I wake up, when my alarm goes off, I try to wake up when my alarm goes off. And that was a long journey for me. That was one goal I had, was to, first of all, wake up before my alarm went off. But also when it does go off, to not snooze it and just pop up. Or like, you know. But one thing I do is once my alarm goes off, like I turn it off and then I turn it right back on for the next day. And so that helps me where when I am in bed, I'm not looking at my phone. The phone alarm is already set and I'm in bed. And my kids know how important sleep is for me, because if I get my sleep, I'm gonna be happy the next day. And so they're gonna be happy the next day. So, and my husband knows how important it is for me to get into bed. He knows.
When mama's
they
not
say
happy,
good night.
nobody's happy.
Yeah, and I think it's really hard because I start getting ready for bed at like 7:30, 8. And you know, my husband's getting home from Blur at 7:30. And so it's like, we're just crossing paths, but we have to find the time to spend time together. And so his lunchtime is like our time.
I love, and you encourage him to go.
Oh.
And I love that you both encourage each other to go to the gym.
Yes.
So like, why are you going to the gym? No,
Yes.
go to the gym.
And we have so much fun talking about it. Oh my God, what did you do? Oh,
and he's like, I did the worm today at the gym.
But it's so much fun it's so important if you're not married to find a supportive spouse, because who you marry is the biggest decision, the biggest indicator of your happiness is who you marry. So if I'm at the gym and he's nagging, you're still there, you're so selfish, all you care. Instead, he's like, I want you to make yourself look better. I want you to feel better. Go and do it. And he supports me, and it's so important.
What a man.
And you are that guy for Nancy.
Nancy.
Nancy? You're one lucky girl.
Nancy, I'm gonna rub your feet, Nancy.
Nancy. So yes, having a very good friend, like having a gym buddy, is really, really important.
Erica Hubbard like rubber, ain't got no flubber. Talk about your girl.
Yeah, so everyone needs an Erica. Erica works full time, so I want everyone to know that she works full time, and she's always hustling. She's getting her clothes ready. She comes in with like 2 suitcases ready for the day. Have you seen her?
Yeah.
And she works around, gets everything into bed. We're so supportive of each other. We live in our own little delusional world of like, yeah, we're fun, just like you and I.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, let's get this workout in. And so having her, oh my gosh, we need like instead of a dating app, we need an app where you find a gym buddy.
Yes. Well, that's the best thing about a CrossFit gym.
Yes.
For so many years before I discovered CrossFit, I always tried to find a training partner that could be consistent with me. And be like, all right, we're going at 5 p.m. I'm at the gym, 5:45 p.m. Oh, I'll be there in 15 minutes. I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna start. And so I was never able to find someone as addicted as me. So from age 13 till 21, I was at Gold's Gym 2 to 3 hours a day by myself. But what I love about CrossFit is no matter what hour you go, you're gonna have workout partners. You don't have to call each other, but you can. If you wanna link up the times, you're gonna have not only workout partners, but a coach. So you get personal training for a little less than $6 a day at any time. You don't even have to schedule it. You can just show up. Not only that, you have a whole gang of people ready to do the same workout as you. We're all gonna struggle together. That anybody that's ever played a sport knows that when you struggle with someone, you get closer, you bond. That's what I love about you, the fact that you've never played sports, but you have that toughness mentality.
I wish my parents put me in sports.
Well, you're in the greatest sport of all now, CrossFit. But there's a lot of people that never have played sports that it's hard for them to understand how to push through pain, how to embrace what you'd call good pain in CrossFit, like just your quads burning or your lungs are max capacity, your heart rate's in the 170s, how to live in that and how it ends up making you thrive in chaos everywhere outside of here because you took your body to such a high level of stress and continued to perform. Just trickles into every other area. And then you surround that with, at any CrossFit gym, you're gonna get people that have all been humbled by the workouts. They're all hungry, ambitious people, and they're all actively pursuing the next level dimension of themselves. And you put that in a room, you've got just pure gold. And that's something I've realized that only if I absolutely have to work out by myself will I. And I love working out. It's not that I can't, but I know I'll perform way better
if you have a
if Sarah's next to me doing burpees, going, come on, clunker dunker, pick up the speed. I'm like,
like, pick it up. Yes, I think also like when you see people working out as coaches, when we see people working out and they're doing a lift and they're shaking their head no, that's already telling themselves they can't do it.
Nonverbals.
Right? Like,
so I actually had a coach that champions don't go like this, champions go like this.
Yes.
And then another thing too was, he's doing it right now. If I stood like this on the sidelines, this is a negative posture. You're supposed to stand like this. This is a power posture. And they'd be on the camera.
Just coming in.
But there's a lot, you say a lot without saying anything. There's a lot of nonverbals, not only to other people around you speaking negative energy, but to yourself. And going back to what we said in the beginning, like, instead of your thoughts talking to you, you talking back to your thoughts. Like, no, I'm gonna get warm and I'm gonna feel good. Like, I'm not gonna listen to these. I'm gonna move my body because I've done it a million times before. We got so much evidence. And I know you've had it where you didn't come in feeling the greatest and then bam, you dominated the workout. And you're like, all right, we can do it again. We can do it again. But yeah, the nonverbal of like going into a lift and you're shaking your head no, you've already defeated yourself.
Or like dropping the barbell because you didn't get the lift you wanted to and you're angry and you walk away and you throw. It's the worst. I don't like being around that. It's the worst and it's so contagious. And so being like positive and just being proud of your body that you even showed up and that you came. And you pushed yourself. Like you tried instead of coming in and being like, this work, another, oh man, that's too heavy. Modify, scale the reps back. This is for people, this is like, okay, if you want to go all out, this is the workout, but you can always come in and do the same workout and cut the reps in half, and no one's even going to know you did it. And you could scale the weight and everyone's still going to high five you and you're still going to feel good and amazing rather than not coming in, bitching. You are who you hang out with. So we don't want to hang out with.
Quit your bitching.
And I don't want to be that person either. Like when my husband comes home from a long day, I want to be excited to see him.
Well, I mean,
here too.
We're in North Scottsdale. We got trainers. We got beautiful weather. We're healthy. If we truly see the overflowing cup that we have and we really take some time of gratitude in the morning and just thanking God for all the abundance in our life, it shifts our mindset to that, all right, we're good, we got this. Okay, I didn't hit my lift, but whatever. Or I don't feel that great today, but that's okay. I'm gonna move and I'm gonna change that mindset this hour.
Being grateful.
And how many times in a workout, I mean, through the workout, you get to kind of work through your emotions of the day, whatever they may be. And I love that about CrossFit because it will beat a bad attitude out of you real quick. By the time you're done, the near-death experience just has you excited to be alive.
Right. It's so true.
Yeah, great point, Sarah. So keep your chin up. None of this. None of this. Yes. But speaking belief, speaking victory, the power of tongue has life and death. So your words create your world. And how important it is to not start complaining because you're speaking that lack, you're speaking that defeat, but to speak victory and to speak the I can and I will. And
this workout looks so good and I can't wait to do it. And honestly, that's how I think.
And I've gotten to that point too, because anybody that's seen me run more than 200 meters knows that I am
big ass thighs.
I'm not moving well. But I love the workouts with long runnings. I'm not skipping them, like I'm gonna do it.
Right, we're gonna do things that are gonna be hard for us to get better at.
Yes, and that's the beauty of CrossFit is everybody gets their day in the sun and there's enough sunshine for us all. So regardless of where you are at on the leaderboard, who cares? You came in and gave full effort, it's a full victory. So I think that we've gotten to that point. And that takes time too, because I'll admit when I first started CrossFit, when I was CrossFit Games, oh my God, CrossFit. If I didn't win the workout, I'd be pissed. If I did bad in the open workout, it was my identity. And then I realized that for everyone that CrossFits, your identity is way bigger than CrossFit. It is. I mean, you have gifts to give this world that are way larger than if you can do Fran under 5 minutes.
Right.
Like, who gives a shit outside of this? And my mom actually, I want to shout out my mom, I love you. My mom gave me the best perspective. So the last time I was competing in the CrossFit Games Regionals 2015, first workout was best I've ever done. I was able to get a first place in the event. The rest of the weekend, dead last, every workout. And I called my mom and I was just like, I'm last place. And my mom's like, you know, we really don't give a shit if what place you get. Like, I don't love you any less or more. Like, and I was like, wait. At first, I was like, you don't give a shit, Mom?
Give a shit.
And then all of a sudden, the most peaceful weight was lifted off of me in that moment, where it was the most freeing feeling. Where I was like, oh, like it's fine. However, I know. You know, like, and if you're really chasing that, and it's truly a dragon, chasing that dragon of trying to be the fittest, I mean,
there are going to be some workouts that somebody else is better at.
Yeah.
There are going to be some workouts that you're better at. You maybe got more sleep that night, or I mean, there's so many variables to it.
And I love that I always see you on the days that someone got a few seconds faster. You're always coming celebrating them, commenting on their sugar wad. Yeah, I remember whatever Saturday was, like you ran up to Chio and you were like, Chio, like celebrating them, you know.
She's my gold.
So that's the beautiful thing about CrossFit is it keeps you humble and hungry, and it keeps you pursuing that next level, but of yourself, where the only thing you're comparing yourself is to yesterday and trying to continue to make a little more progress. So.
And your body is different. Everyone's bodies are different. So what one person can lift, your body is different. The other person can't do, or maybe if they're lighter, they can swing higher on the muscle ups or anything. We can't compare yourself. I think comparing yourself is.
And we've gotten to a very good maturity level at Blur that I'm super grateful for. I think CrossFit as a whole, as a community, has as well. In the earlier stages of CrossFit, everybody thought they could be the fittest on earth, and then they realized that, all right, you gotta do that 4 or 5 hours a day, not have a job, and have someone sponsor you. Yeah, so let's just do this for fun.
Right.
And again, anyone that's not having fun, you gotta find the fun in it, or else it doesn't last. So find the enjoyment, fall in love with the process. I think that's a great question to ask you. What would you say to someone that is losing the fun of CrossFit? How would you gain it back?
Oh, that was a tough one.
I know, that's not in the whiteboard. It's not in the notes.
We didn't talk about this. I would say staying consistent is very important. Coming even when you don't want to is very, very important, because it could be a patch where you're having a tough time or it's become boring and you're like, oh, again, I have to do the same thing. But just coming in with a good attitude and knowing that you're going to be looking good, feeling good as you get older. You're gonna be able to lift up your grandkids, not be in a nursing home because your kids booted you in there, but like coming in knowing that this is part of your life, this is your lifestyle, and it's not something that can be eliminated from your schedule. Everything for me revolves around my fitness. Like I always try to get it in. But yeah, I mean, I just don't see losing the fun, so that's a hard one.
I think you answered it great, because if you're winning the war in your mind and deciding to have a great attitude, I was listening to this neuroscience nerd dude that said about our neural pathways in our mind, it's like a patch of grass that's a little bit longer, and every time we have a thought and we feed that thought, it's like walking on the patch of grass. And if you continue to walk on that patch of grass, eventually it becomes easier to walk on because
it's like flattened.
Yeah, so same goes as you continue, whatever you feed multiplies. So if you're feeding those negative thoughts in the morning, they multiply, become to the point where it's just overwhelming to you. But if you shift your mindset in the morning to the long haul vision of like going,
this is a non-negotiable.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do understand, like people are like, oh, it's just, I'm tired of doing this every day. It's the same thing, my body hurts. I think that if you are tired, there's something at home that needs to be shifted, whether it's your nutrition, your sleep, because this should always be fun. Like this is so addictive.
Yeah, get to the root.
How isn't it
Get
fun?
to the true root of it.
Why are you not getting enough sleep? Because if you're not, you're gonna be dragging in here. It's going to be boring. You're gonna be negative. So why are you?
And CrossFit has never been boring.
Never. It is so much fun.
Every week still, 16, 17 years later, I'm always like, wow, I've never done that before. I've never done that workout. I've never done that sequence.
That's so
or that,
true.
You know, so.
It's so fun. Coming in, seeing your friends, so much fun. We all think the same. I think the people here is what keeps you here. And so finding your little workout buddy and.
Yes, and if you are struggling in that area, take down our numbers.
We'll
be your accountability buddy.
Yeah.
Any last tips of advice of one thing to hold on to for people?
Nutrition, I think, is key.
Yes.
So we talked about nutrition being huge. What else did we talk about?
So you'll see your trainer 1 out of 24 hours.
Yes.
We have control of you for 3.5% of the day.
Right.
There's a lot of other time where what are we doing? I know one of the members.
Being honest to yourself. Like, what are you eating behind closed doors?
I'm gonna put Jesse Bott on blast because he's
Jesse!
a good sport. I remember Luke Caston saw him at Long Wong's one time, this deep fried place down on Thomas, and I go, what are you doing at Long Wong's, dude? And he's like, yeah, that's why I'm puking during the workouts. I'm like, all right. Jesse Bott's like,
Jesse,
WTF, dude? He doesn't go there anymore.
But also seeing people's grocery carts. I think that's one thing that we need to do is what you should put in your cart, because you may think it's healthy, but it's not healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I've come so far in that. I remember in high school, they used to, you know how they advertised, it said fat-free muffins.
Yes, and you're like, oh, there's no fat in those.
Fat-free muffins.
Yeah. That's so true.
Yeah,
I think walking after you eat is really important.
Yeah.
Going for a 5-10 minute walk after you eat helps digest the food. That's helped me.
I like that. Good call.
What else?
But Sarah's really good about
hacks?
staying in motion, taking a peek at your nutrition, seeing if you can make a 30-day shift. Finding the fun in the workout, not taking it so seriously, I think is a great way to find the fun back in it too for me. I've gotten to that point, like I said, if it takes 15 minutes or 20 minutes, who gives a shit?
Yeah, you're doing it, you're here, you showed up, you're moving.
And I think that encapsulates a lot of it. I don't know if you have any...
I'm trying to think if there's anything else we're missing. Probably not.
I think we've covered the base as well, and I hope this encouraged you. Yes.
We did want to talk about, because there's a lot of moms, we have a lot of moms here at CrossFit, and I think that one thing that you and I talked about that's important is because sometimes you're like, oh, I have kids and I can't make it, or I don't want to bring my kids here, but taking that time for yourself and not feeling guilt of coming and working out, and your kids can sit in the room for an hour and watch TV or sit around and you can pawn them off or ask for help, but not feeling guilty to come work out, not feeling guilty that you're missing an event of theirs, because taking care of you is taking care of them through you. So I think it's really important. That's very important.
Great point.
And we don't feel like we're a bad mom if we take care of ourselves.
And I think you could also be doing your child a disservice if you're trying to show them that the world revolves around them. And it could create a monster.
Right.
So,
I mean, I only share, I guess my followers all think that all I do is work out because I only share Jake's posts, but I don't share the moments that I am with my kids and like how I do take them to sports and we do spend time with them.
and
this
the
is not all we
qualities,
do. This is
and the quality is going to be higher because you've created the energy.
Right.
And to create energy, you have to exert energy. And the days I feel the most garbage is the days I'm not moving.
Yes.
So those days I feel like a shitty dad because I'm like, Julian's on the trampoline and I'm like, oh, I just want to.
Oh my gosh, it's so true.
So,
when I don't move and I'm just laying around watching, like sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I could just sit down and watch one of my murder shows. And I did on Sunday. I sat and I watched one of my murder shows and I was yawning the entire, my mom was like, did you not get enough sleep? I was like, I haven't exercised. Like I haven't gone out. And it doesn't mean you need to go and, you can go on a walk and you'll feel so much better. And I did do that and I felt so much better.
And I think we have such a high awareness because it's our common state now is post-workout because we do it in the morning. And I've noticed that without it, I have a cloudy mind.
Yes.
And that by just doing deep breathing through exercise for 45 minutes, it oxygenates your brain, making it easier to make decisions after where I can, all right, I need to do this, or I need to do that, instead of having paralysis by analysis. When I don't work out, I'm like, I feel like I got a million things to do and I don't know where to start and I'm just frozen.
I don't even want to do them,
Yeah, so it gets that mojo flowing.
Yep.
I like that. It's a great point for any parents out there is that
taking care of yourself.
Taking care of yourself is the best way.
Oh, summer's coming, I'm gonna have to cancel. No, bring your kids, put them in the room, ask for help. Let their dad take care of them. They're not babysitting. That's their child too. And help each other. Like you take and then we'll switch. And so, I mean, Kelsey and Brandon do such a good job of supporting each other, bringing Miles, switching, such a good job. Like they're committed, they're gonna come. She works, she has a child, she's here. So I think that
exercise is a non-negotiable.
Yes.
Cut.
Have we convinced you yet, Nick?
Yeah. Yes. You're amazing.
Really?
So well spoken, so confident.
Like, what else could have we said?
So you're speaking with confidence, but also we were speaking from an encouraging tone, not a we know it all, like listen up. Like it was all just encouragement.